Every morning, the words you speak to yourself set the tone for the day. They can either empower you to face challenges with resilience or leave you struggling against self-doubt. The practice of speaking 7 deliberate lines to yourself at the start of each day is a powerful ritual, one that aligns your mind with purpose, responsibility, and clarity. These lines are not mere affirmations, but commitments, reminders of your capacity to endure, improve, and contribute meaningfully to the world. They reinforce discipline, gratitude, and the relentless pursuit of truth. By engaging in this practice, you take control of your inner narrative, ensuring that you begin each day with intention rather than reaction. This speech explores the essence of those 7 lines, grounding them in principles of self-mastery, accountability, and the courage to confront life's inevitable struggles. 5 keynotes for the speech: take responsibility for your life. Your words should remind you that you are the architect of your destiny, and no external force can define your path unless you allow it. Pursue truth over comfort. Choose honesty with yourself, even when it's painful, because self-deception is the enemy of growth. Embrace suffering as a catalyst. Difficulty is not your enemy. It is the forge that strengthens your character and resolve. Stand tall with purpose. Your daily words must reinforce your mission, ensuring you act with integrity and direction. Strive for continuous improvement. Each day is an opportunity to be slightly better than you were yesterday. Small steps compound into greatness. Speech. Speak 7 lines to yourself every morning. Good morning. Before the world demands your attention, before distractions creep in, take a moment to speak these 7 lines to yourself. Let them be your compass, your armor, and your fuel for the day ahead. I am responsible for my life. No blame, no excuses. The power to change your circumstances begins with owning them. I will seek the truth even when it hurts. Lies to yourself or others corrode your soul. Face reality with courage. I embrace the struggle, for it shapes me. Without challenge, there is no growth. Welcome difficulty as your teacher. I will act with purpose, not just react. Don't drift through the day. Move deliberately toward what matters. I will treat myself and others with respect. Dignity is non-negotiable. Never diminish yourself or anyone else. I am stronger than my fears. Fear is a signal, not a stop sign. Move forward despite it. Today, I will be better than yesterday. Progress, not perfection. One small step at a time. These 7 lines are not magic, they are discipline. Repeat them, believe them, live them, and watch how your days transform. Now go conquer your day. Take responsibility for your life. The most fundamental shift you can make is to recognize that your life is yours to command. Responsibility is not a burden, it is liberation. When you stop blaming circumstances, other people, or luck for where you are, you reclaim agency. Every decision, every action, and even every failure becomes a lesson rather than a condemnation. The moment you say, "This is my doing," you transform from a passive observer into an active participant in your destiny. Responsibility means acknowledging that your habits shape your future. If you waste time, you will regret it. If you avoid difficult tasks, they will compound into larger problems. But if you confront them, if you discipline your mind, your time, and your efforts, you build a life of meaning. The alternative is a slow surrender to chaos, where you become a leaf blown by the wind of external forces. This is why your morning ritual must begin with ownership. I am responsible for my life. Say it, mean it, and act accordingly. No one else will fix things for you. No government, no parent, no luck will intervene to make your path easier. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you can begin the real work of building something worthwhile. Pursue truth over comfort. The human mind is wired to seek comfort, to avoid pain, and to construct narratives that shield us from harsh realities. But truth, no matter how difficult, is the only foundation for a meaningful existence. Self-deception is a slow poison. It erodes your integrity, distorts your perception, and leaves you stranded in a world of illusion. Every morning, remind yourself, I will seek the truth even when it hurts. This means being honest about your weaknesses, your mistakes, and your shortcomings. It means refusing to make excuses for failure or to inflate your successes beyond reality. Truth demands that you look at the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. This principle extends beyond self-assessment. It applies to how you engage with others, how you interpret events, and how you make decisions. Lies, even small ones, corrode trust both in yourself and in your relationships. The more you indulge in comforting falsehoods, the weaker you become. But if you face the truth head on, no matter how painful, you cultivate resilience. You become someone who can withstand reality rather than flee from it. Embrace suffering as a catalyst. Life is suffering. This is not meaningless. It is the fire that forges strength, the resistance that builds muscle, the challenge that sharpens the mind. If you run from every difficulty, you remain weak. If you face it, you grow. Your morning affirmation must include this: I embrace the struggle, for it shapes me. Without struggle, there is no achievement. Without pain, there is no progress. The most accomplished people in history did not avoid suffering. They endured it, learned from it, and used it as fuel. This does not mean seeking unnecessary pain, but it does mean refusing to crumble when hardship arrives. When you encounter obstacles, ask, what can this teach me? When you face failure, ask, how can this make me stronger? Suffering, when met with courage, transforms from an enemy into an ally. Stand tall with purpose. A life without purpose is a life adrift. Without a clear direction, you are vulnerable to every distraction, every fleeting desire, every external demand. But when you define your mission, when you know why you are doing what you do, you gain an unshakable foundation. Every morning, declare, I will act with purpose, not just react. This means setting intentions rather than responding to whatever the day throws at you. It means aligning your actions with your values, not with momentary impulses. Purpose is not some grand, abstract destiny. It is the daily decision to move towards something meaningful, whether that is building a career, nurturing relationships, or improving yourself. When you stand tall with purpose, you become unstoppable. Strive for continuous improvement. Perfection is an illusion, but progress is real. The goal is not to be flawless, but to be better today than you were yesterday. Small, consistent improvements compound over time into extraordinary results. Your final morning line should be, today I will be better than yesterday. This could mean learning one new thing, correcting one mistake, or simply resisting one temptation. Growth is incremental, but it is also inevitable if you commit to it daily. The alternative is stagnation, which is a slow decline. The world does not stand still, neither can you. Keep moving forward, one step at a time. Let me know if you'd like any refinements or expansions. Embrace suffering as a catalyst. Life is not fair. It was never meant to be. The universe does not care about your comfort, your dreams, or your feelings. This realization is not cruel. It is freeing. When you stop expecting life to be easy, you stop being disappointed when it isn't. Instead, you begin to see hardship for what it truly is, the raw material of strength. Every morning you must remind yourself, I embrace the struggle, for it shapes me. This is not mere positive thinking, it is the unflinching acknowledgement that suffering is the price of growth. The athlete does not build endurance by avoiding the burn of exertion. The scholar does not gain wisdom by skipping difficult texts. The entrepreneur does not create value without facing failure. Resistance is not your enemy, it is your training ground. History's most remarkable figures were not spared from suffering, they were forged by it. Viktor Frankl found meaning in the concentration camps. Nelson Mandela emerged from 27 years in prison without bitterness. Beethoven composed masterpieces while going deaf. Their power came not in spite of their suffering, but because of how they engaged with it. They understood that pain is inevitable, but despair is optional. This is why you must reframe your relationship with difficulty. When you face setbacks, ask, what is this trying to teach me? When you feel overwhelmed, ask, how can this pressure refine me? Suffering strips away illusions about yourself, about others, about how the world works. It reveals what truly matters. But embracing suffering does not mean seeking misery. It means recognizing that the things worth having, mastery, resilience, wisdom, require sacrifice. Comfort is the enemy of achievement. If you spend your life avoiding discomfort, you will never test your limits. You will never discover what you are truly capable of. So each morning, when you declare your willingness to endure the struggle, you are not resigning yourself to a life of pain. You are arming yourself for the battles that matter. You are saying, I will not shrink from what is difficult because on the other side of difficulty lies my better self. The path of least resistance leads to stagnation. The path of purposeful struggle leads to transformation. Choose the latter. Stand tall with purpose. Purpose is the antidote to chaos. Without it, even the most gifted individuals drift through life like ships without rudders, subject to every passing current, vulnerable to every storm. But when you anchor yourself to a meaningful aim, you gain an unshakable foundation. Your daily struggles acquire context. Your sacrifices make sense. Your life stops being a series of reactions and becomes a deliberate march forward. Every morning you must declare, I will act with purpose, not just react. This simple line contains a revolutionary idea that you are not at the mercy of circumstance, but the architect of your response. The world will throw endless distractions at you, trivial conflicts, manufactured outrage, temptations to waste time or compromise your values. Without purpose, you will chase them all. With purpose, you learn to say, this matters, that does not. Real purpose is not some vague notion of being happy. Happiness is a byproduct, not a goal. Purpose is concrete. It is the decision to build something that lasts, protect those you love, master a craft, leave things better than you found them, speak truth in a world of lies. When you stand tall with purpose, you stop apologizing for existing. You stop waiting for permission. You realize that the world does not owe you meaning. You owe it to yourself to create meaning through your actions. History's most impactful figures were not necessarily the smartest or most talented. They were those who refused to be diverted from their mission. Martin Luther King Jr. could have chosen safety. Marie Curie could have accepted the limitations placed on women of her time. But they had a why that overpowered every how. Your purpose does not need to be grandiose. It needs to be yours, aligned with your deepest values, demanding your best effort. Maybe it's being the first in your family to break a cycle. Maybe it's creating art that moves people. Maybe it's simply showing up day after day as someone others can rely on. The alternative, a life spent chasing fleeting pleasures that leave you empty, resenting others' success while making no real effort. Waking up at 50, realizing you've been on autopilot. This is why your morning declaration matters. It's not affirmation, it's activation. You are programming your mind to filter out noise and focus on what's essential. When distractions arise, and they will, your purpose becomes the litmus test. Does this serve what matters? Standing tall doesn't mean you won't get knocked down. It means you'll keep choosing your direction no matter how many times you fall. In a world that rewards conformity, your purposeful stance is revolutionary. It announces, I am here for more than survival. I am here to matter. Now, what will you build today that your future self will thank you for? Strive for continuous improvement. Excellence is never an accident. It is the inevitable result of disciplined, incremental progress. The difference between mediocrity and mastery isn't talent or luck, but the relentless commitment to getting 1% better every single day. This is the essence of your fifth morning declaration. Today, I will be better than yesterday. Human beings are unique in our capacity for deliberate self-evolution. While animals adapt through generations of genetic selection, we can transform ourselves within a lifetime through conscious effort. But this requires rejecting the seductive lie of fixed potential, the dangerous notion that what you are is all you'll ever be. The truth is far more empowering. You are a work in progress, and the direction of that progress is yours to choose. Consider the compounding effect of small improvements. Reading 10 pages daily equals 3,650 pages yearly, approximately 12 substantial books, saving 20 DAILY, 20 daily grosso, 7,300 annually. A life-changing emergency fund. 30 minutes of focused skill practice daily makes you better than 95% of people in that domain within 2 years. The reverse is equally true. Small daily neglects, skipped workouts, procrastinated tasks, uncontrolled spending compound into irreversible consequences. Time magnifies whatever habits you feed it. Your morning commitment to improvement serves 3 vital functions. It defeats perfectionism by focusing on progress rather than flawless results. It builds anti-fragility by making challenges stepping stones rather than obstacles. It creates momentum where small wins fuel larger breakthroughs. The Japanese concept of Kaizen, continuous improvement, revolutionized manufacturing by proving that thousands of tiny enhancements create revolutionary results. Apply this to your life. Instead of crash diets, improve one eating habit weekly. Rather than marathon study sessions, master one concept daily. In place of dramatic declarations, make one difficult phone call first. True growth happens in the uncomfortable gap between I can't and I haven't yet. When you commit to daily improvement, you transform this gap from a source of shame to a space of possibility. Each evening, ask, what one thing did I do better today? Where did I fall short of my standards? What single improvement will I make tomorrow? This practice builds what psychologists call earned self-esteem, the unshakable confidence that comes from knowing you can trust yourself to show up and improve. Unlike the fragile ego boosts of social media likes or empty praise, this confidence withstands failure because it's rooted in demonstrable growth. History's greatest innovators, from Da Vinci to Edison, maintained lifelong learning journals. Modern research confirms what they intuited: the simple act of tracking progress doubles improvement rates. Your morning declaration is the seed of this practice. The alternative, the slow tragedy of unused potential. The bitter realization that years pass without meaningful growth. The haunting question, what could I have become if I had simply shown up for myself daily? Your future self is watching your present choices. Will they be proud or disappointed? The answer begins with today's commitment. I will be better. Not perfect, not finished, just better. Because in the end, we don't rise to our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. Your morning words are the first brick in that system. Lay it well. The alchemy of daily words. These 7 lines are more than words. They are the chisel with which you sculpt your destiny. When spoken with conviction each morning, they perform an alchemy, transforming the base metal of raw potential into the gold of realized purpose. This is not mystical thinking, it's neurological fact. The words you repeat become the neural pathways your brain reinforces, the filters through which you interpret events, the standards by which you measure yourself. You now hold the keys to a profound daily ritual. Responsibility as your foundation, truth as your compass, struggle as your forge, purpose as your engine, improvement as your trajectory. The world will try to distract you from this practice to make you reactive, complacent, and scattered. Resist. These 7 sentences are your armor against chaos, your map through uncertainty. They distill centuries of wisdom into a daily battle plan for a meaningful life. This is your challenge. For the next 30 days, speak these lines with your hand on your heart at dawn. Observe how your focus sharpens, your resilience grows, and your life begins bending toward your intentions. The transformation won't be loud. It will whisper in your better decisions, your calmer responses, your quiet victories. You are always one disciplined morning away from changing everything. The power rests in your willingness to show up day after day and speak truth to your soul. Now go. Your future self is waiting.